fat in they pocket. So many hustle for the cash, so it's hard to knock it. Everybody got their own thing, currency chasing worldwide through the hard times.
Well, God bless you, community family, and welcome to Gang Talk with Skipp Townsend and Sister Herron. As you can see, we're back in the studio. It's Thursday. It's 6 o'clock. We've been doing this routine since 2009. So if you're new to it, wake up and get involved. Come join us. And you see we have a panel of community members, which is what we do every week. So we're about to get started. But before we do, we want to welcome Skipp back. You notice he's been gone a little while, and we missed him. And so actually, Skipp, haven't seen you since Earl came.
Oh, yeah, Earl LaFari Hutchinson.
Yeah.
So if you tell me to thank our last guest, I want to thank Earl. But first of all, let me give all honor and praise to God. Truly grateful to be here, grateful to be alive. I'm not dead or in jail. I am grateful. Mm-hmm. So let me get started with that. But you're right, sister. I had 2 graduations, actually. I had 3 graduations, but one of them didn't make me miss. 2 of them did. My twin daughters, Kylan and Jigga. They're 2 weeks apart, but they're still twins.
Yes, they are. Babies. Oh, they're twins. Look, bless their hearts, they're twins.
Right, so they both graduate. They're high school graduates, and I had to go to Victorville for one graduation. And that graduation was like a Chris Brown concert. Wasn't nowhere to park. They were scalping tickets outside.
Wow.
And yeah, it was really, really big. So I'm grateful, and they both got to enjoy themselves. And then young Carter. You know, in my day and age, we would graduate from 6th grade, but nowadays they graduate from 5th grade. So young Carter graduated from 5th grade. And
I saw him walking down the aisle, so cute, and he's running track now.
No, that's Cody running track.
Cody. It's Cody?
Yeah, Cody running track. And
okay.
Yeah, it's the little white one that runs track.
Okay, I can't keep up. I thought that was all right. Yeah. But
well, it's 12 of them, so I expect you to remember all of them.
That's all right. I should remember the small ones and the ones that started out on the radio with us, because I have baby pictures of the twins, and I started to post that last week. Because they were so young and innocent, and then last week they graduated high school. It's like, dang, that went by fast. Yes, so I really wanted to congratulate you and congratulate them. And, it's good to hear that a graduation was crowded.
Yes, indeed.
That's the best news this week. So what else do we want to do? I want to thank our guest that came last week, but I always have that senior moment. I can't.
Last week, I believe it was a rebroadcast.
Oh, that's why.
Yes, indeed. So,
yeah, well, sister needed a break, and so when I take a break, we always like to rebroadcast some of our favorite shows, and the one that we rebroadcast was the kids that run track. Yes. That have competed in the Junior Olympics and the program they're with, and the parents that are dedicated and committed to seeing their kids do something more positive. So that's why I tease Skipp about his son running track now, because it's nice to see them having something else to do. So Skipp, that's it.
Yeah, and the camaraderie. I want to say real quick that somebody brought it to my attention that if you look at the parents that are out there with their children, the parents come from different communities, different walks of life, and a lot of times we used to get into it. A lot of times we used to, not really associate with each other, not affiliate with each other. So, to have the parents come out and there's no drama, no anything that goes on, it's really a blessing.
Yes, it is.
I can't stay focused. I just saw this beautiful young lady come in and sit down.
Miss Kathy Wooten, we're going to always hold the chair for her anytime she's ready to occupy it, and bless her and thank her for bringing the folks that she brings, because we can't do it without each other. Right. And that's what this is about.
And if there wasn't enough chairs, just know, Kathy, I would have gave you mine.
You'd have gave me a chair.
I'd have sat in the alley and waited.
He'd have probably let you sit in his lap. That's really
Nah, I know Kathy's husband. I don't get down there. I don't want to fight. I'm too old to fight. I got asthma and my leg hurts. So, I just let that go.
I know if you know him like that, he won't hurt you. Right. Okay? Mm-hmm. But maybe share the chair. It's all right. Yes, but welcome, Kathy. And we were just kind of highlighting the last couple of weeks. And really want to thank you and Barbara for coming a few weeks ago, and how powerful that was to have that time to ask Marcus all the questions every mother in our community wants to know. What the hell was wrong with you, son? What was you thinking? So that was good, and bless his heart, he answered us. So let's just get right in it and start with the introductions, okay?
All right. We're going to start to my left.
That's
Young
fine.
fella, if you come to the microphone and just say your name, brother.
Good evening. My name is Dennis Dunham.
Dennis.
All right.
All right.
All right.
My name is Prentice Rogers.
All right, Dennis.
And my name is Carl McKinney.
Okay.
All right.
Hello, I'm Kathy Wooten.
Yes, ma'am. You sure are. And we're so happy to welcome you here. And what is our custom when we do the introductions? We give our guests the opportunity to tell us a little bit about their background, anything they're comfortable that they feel they want to share with the audience to get an idea of what you're bringing to our conversation. So, want to start there? Anybody want to share anything?
Okay. Well, my name is Dennis. I'm 49, married. 6-year anniversary celebrated last month. Got married in prison.
In prison.
After almost 14 years
Okay.
of being in prison, I met a beautiful woman, and we decided to get married.
Okay.
I've been out now. I got out December 30th, so I got to spend New Year's Eve and New Year's with my wife and family. I also have twin daughters of my own.
Oh, how cute.
23, turned 23 a couple months ago, and they each have a daughter of their own. So I'm a grandfather. And then my wife has, we have another 5 children, total of maybe 13 grandchildren.
Okay.
So I've got to meet almost all the grandchildren, but all of my children. I'm at Amity now, which is not where I thought I would be coming out of prison. The parole board recommended I go to Kern County, but the parole department had other plans. They sent me to Amity here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And so the program is going pretty well. I'm a welder by trade. I'm a claimed welder by trade. I took up the trade in prison.
Welding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I got very proficient at it. I enjoy it, but I have not been able to get employed in that field yet because I don't have any actual work experience.
Right.
And so I'm trying to join a union, or whichever one could test me first.
Well, there's a process. First comes the learning, then comes the experience, then comes the job. Isn't that amazing how that works? You can't get the job until you have some experience.
Right.
But there are ways. It's going to happen.
It's
and
coming.
The beauty about welding, it makes you independent. It really does. It helps you become independent. You can do anything from building welding to auto mechanic welding, wherever welding is necessary. You can even do art
Right.
welding.
Right.
So the beauty about what you're saying here, you actually have a skill that will employ you.
Right.
Where so many of our young people, they just ask for a job.
Right. Well, that's been part of the problem. Is that I don't just want a job. I have been able to get employed, but just any job would take up my time and resources.
Right.
And
That is so intelligent, brother.
I'm not a young, rooster anymore.
Right.
So my years and my time is very valuable.
Yes.
And I have to contribute that toward a career.
Right, and what's so important, sister, is that the unions don't want him to have that experience you talked about, because whatever experience he had, they'd have to unlearn him and teach him their way. So you have opportunities, brother. And there was a young fellow come out of my community, did time at Chino, and they did an underwater welding where he can go 100 feet underwater and weld. He was home about maybe 4 months before I was able to help him become a union iron worker. Since then, he has been 5 years, he's a journeyman iron worker, but he has just taken the test to pass to become a power lineman with IBEW. So this is a bank robber, too. I'm going to tell you, he used to throw money out the window, have limos and all that, and I never thought he was going to do good when he came home, but he's intelligent, got that welding, he's on it. So we'll talk afterwards, brother, and I'll definitely send you down the same path. But they don't want them to know anything. They don't want you to work with your uncle or nothing, because he's going to teach you how to put a paper clip and some gum in the corner, and you know what I mean?
MacGyver.
Right.
Well, there is a certain training that does go along with it, and the point is you're already past the fear factor. You know how to handle a torch, light it, put it out. Those are beginning steps, and
She
and
sounds
it's
like she
gonna
knows what she's
happen.
doing, huh?
I
You
know,
will?
Hey, enough to get hurt. That's what I know. Let's go on to our next guest, Prentice.
Well, my name is Prentice, and I got out December the 2nd, And afterwards, I went to Amity. First, I got kicked out of the first. First, I got kicked out of the first halfway house, well, transitional housing, and then they sent me to Amity, and it was like a prison all over again.
Can I ask you a question? How long were you locked up?
27 years.
27 years.
27 years, yeah.
That's a lifetime.
Yeah.
And you got to relearn after that what's going on in the world, the things that have changed. So it's quite a process.
When I got out, to me, the world consists of credit cards and cell phones.
About right.
And after that, I said, I can't never go back to prison. So I got a job now at the railroad. And that's what I'm doing now.
All right.
And you see my lovely wife and my cousin over there. And it's been kind of hard at first.
Yes.
But then when I got the job and I started working and getting a check and everything started falling in its right perspectives, I got a daughter that she was born while I was in jail.
Yeah.
When I went to prison. She's 26 now. And I got one 32. I had a son that got killed when I was in prison at the age of 17. And I just been going through a lot of things and trying to get my life back together. My oldest daughter got my granddaughter. She's 10 years old. Her name is Paris. My youngest daughter got my grandson. His name is Princeton. And other than that, life's been good since I've been out, since I've been working, since I've been moving. And I only got I get out the halfway house next month on the 5th. And then I feel as though then I really can start my life.
Well, because we're going to bring him in the conversation in just a second, but wouldn't you agree, or can I get you to see that after 27 years, you've only been out a short while, but
6 months.
Yeah, things you can see difference happening. You can. Did they have these when you went into lockup?
No, ma'am.
No. And so these are the changes that you have to kind of, oh, God, what is that? What do I do with that now? Because things have changed while you've been away. So we don't want you to, this is not judgment. This is about talking about our experiences while we advise the kids coming behind you that maybe have followed your leadership, that kind of thing. So this is not there's no judgment in this conversation at all. You ready, mister?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean to jump over you, Kathy, but.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm coming right back to
I
you.
don't think she's tripping. My name is Carl McKinney. I'm 66 years old. I'm a former resident of Minden, Louisiana, where I'm originally from.
Okay.
But I've been living out here in Los Angeles. Oh, you do?
I know where that's
All
at.
right,
That's
all right.
over by Jonesboro. That's over by Ruskin.
Yeah. I can't wait to go back home, But anyway, what I was saying is that I just completed 36 years and a 23-day sentence for kidnap robbery. My prior commitments, was based on robberies. I had 2 prior commitments, I first started doing time in 75, got out in 77, went back in 78, got out in 80, went back in 81, and stayed until 2017, which was the February of this year.
You was trying to let him keep you.
Well, it was drugs. I'm just being straight
Let
up.
me ask you this way. Did you do that nonsense in Louisiana?
No. Because
okay.
when I came out here, I was like 5 years old.
Oh, okay,
My mother
because
brought
Louisiana,
myself,
my
brother,
God,
my
Angola,
sister.
look, hey.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've been through.
I'm glad that you did your time out here and not back home.
Yeah,
That's
well,
really
so
all
am
I
I.
want to say, because
So am I.
Louisiana has its own set of nightmares, the way they treat our men in the justice system. So my husband's from New Orleans, and we've had a lot of his relatives in and out, and one of them's a lifer right now in Angola. So, we expect the fact that You've come home. You're in your right mind, and you're looking for something different.
No,
Okay.
without a doubt. Without
So,
a
Miss
doubt.
Kathy, come
Are
on,
you
tell us
done?
why you brought
No, I
these
wasn't,
handsome young men
but
here
if you
tonight.
wanna,
Can you finish?
I wasn't
I'm
finished.
sorry, finish.
Yeah, I want to kind of finish saying what I was saying, if you don't mind.
You speak in the mic.
Okay, I like
Go
to
ahead,
finish saying what
go
I was saying. First of all, I'd like to say that I find it a blessing to really to have regained my freedom again, and the things that I once did in the past, I have no intentions of ever doing again. Like I said, I used to rob banks and savings and loans, but I caught a kidnap on this last bank caper, and this is when the state took it over. I ended up doing the life sentence, which I was sentenced to 7 years to life with a maximum of 13 years. But because of the change, of all the laws, you understand me, these 3 strikes and people get hit with priors, that's just the way the system operates now. They just giving out time like it's nothing, like it's just water,
Well, yeah.
And my whole attempt right now in talking on this mic is to try to inform a lot of these youngsters, about doing the right thing with their life, because you only get to live once. You only get to live once, man. And if you want to give it to the state or prison, it's really your call, man. But my advice to you, man, is try to get yourself an education, get off them streets, get a job, start supporting yourself, become responsible, more accountable, you understand, for your actions, man,
Yeah, those are the conversations we want to
maintain
get
your
into
freedom,
in the second half hour.
Yeah,
The
okay.
advice and the message to the young people.
Well,
Right
I'm here to
now,
do
we're
that.
just working on the introductions, and we haven't allowed Kathy to introduce herself
Okay,
yet.
we're going to allow Miss Kathy to do that right now.
Yeah, come
All
on,
right.
girl.
Thank you.
Refresh us of who you are and tell us why you brought these young brothers here. Because Kathy is responsible for our guest tonight.
First of all, I'm honored to even be in you guys' presence. I appreciate you guys for coming. Looking forward to getting to know you other 2 gentlemen in the near future. Prentice, thank you so much for putting this together. I'm Kathy Wooten. Listeners, you already probably have heard my story. Right now, I'm just humbled just to be in their presence and to hear their story. So.
Yeah.
You're actually a leader, Kathy. I was going to try to be quiet, but when people humbly don't tell people who they are, and I appreciate you giving Prentice credit for bringing us together, but you are an organizer. You are a community member who organizes the community. You're a community member who actually does outreach to the community. You bring resources to the community.
Yes.
And you don't have to. You have every right to be mad.
Yes.
You have every right to be angry, but you don't. You help not only your children, but you help other people's children. And then something you said to me a couple of months ago is you asked me about the mothers who attended your Mother's Day event. You said, Skip, get their names, because if they didn't get a basket, I want to make sure that every mother got something.
Right.
That is the type of person you are, where you're not only thinking about yourself, you want to make sure that everybody else feels good too.
Yes.
So talk about that, Kathy. Don't just sweep it under the rug, because, listen, we got Columbus Day. What did he do? You know what I mean? But we got to celebrate Columbus Day, but you actually out here working in the community saving lives. So I'm going to call it out. We got Abraham Lincoln Day. We got, we probably going to have Donald
President's Day
Trump
now.
Day. You know that, right?
No.
We're going to have 45 days. It's going to be on the 45th of some month. They're going to figure it out, and we're going to have 45 days.
You're going too far out
Okay,
of
I'm
the
sorry.
room.
Go ahead.
Look. We in Los Angeles, and we in South Los Angeles, and he's on the other side of the
Okay.
country. Let him stay over there.
All right. Well,
Let
I
him
just
stay-
want to hear
Let
her
him
say
stay
something.
over there. Okay? Because they ain't shooting nobody over here right now.
Oh, yeah, they shot them people.
Okay, so let's just leave that alone, because this is our business, okay? and we need
Okay.
to talk about that.
So last week, not last week, the week before last, I was on the show, and so people got a chance to hear a little bit of what I do. And you wasn't here, Skip, so you missed it.
Well, Marcus.
So-
took the-
I get to see you do what you do, though.
So
I go out.
this show is about the guys.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Okay.
in a couple of weeks, it's going to be another show with the moms who have lost their children.
Right.
And I'm going to invite Prentice's wife, Kathy, back to come to that show.
Okay.
But right now, I want to let the guys
Let the
have their
guys
way.
talk, and that's good
All right.
because we did invite them here to tell us
Yeah.
their story.
I love
and
you,
as
though,
I
Skip.
said,
Thank you.
in the second
Joe.
half, we want to do a reach out to the young men, show them, because somewhere along the way, you wasn't listening.
You know what,
wasn't trying
sister?
to hear.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
But you had said something about we gonna do a second half. But when he was talking, I was thinking to myself, and I know I didn't know you back then because I ain't 66, but if somebody would have said to you the same thing that you saying to them now, would you have listened?
No,
No.
I wouldn't have listened.
Yeah.
No. So I had to learn the hard way, man. You know.
Right.
I mean, my mother used to tell me all the time, man, you know what I mean? Like, hey, boy, if you ever get a record, it's going to follow you for the rest of your life. So it's going to be hard for you to get jobs, you know what I mean?
A
Things,
record,
you know, like
man. You had a 2-album CD. You had more than a record. You went on tour, bro.
Yeah.
I definitely went on a tour, brothers.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, through the blessing of God, you know what I mean? He gave me back my freedom, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
and I'm more than thankful for that because, you know, in the process of me doing this time, you know, I kind of lost contact with most of my family members. My mother, she died in 2009, and after that, it's like, hey, man, you know, where did everybody go? So after I got back up out of prison, you know, coming to Amity, which is a very proper foundation as far as I'm concerned, because I didn't even know I was going to go in there. When I paroled from Solano on February the 1st, you know, I thought I was going to this place called, what's that home? Francisco Homes.
Right.
But once I got there, they looked at the paperwork and said, no, man, you're going to Amity. So I didn't know nothing about Amity, so when I get there, you understand me, I seen that, you know, the few faces I knew from prison, people that was demonstrators, in other words, counselors, you know, there. So they kind of helped me, you know, like I said,
right.
you know, lead my way, you understand me, into the program, you know what I mean? And since I've been there, I mean, it's I love it, man.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
I really do because they really help you, you know, to get on your feet,
Right.
you know, whether you understand me trying to get back your education, back in school, get a job, you know, I mean, whatever it is, you know.
Right.
that
God is
helps you,
good,
man.
brother.
Yeah.
And that's really the most important part about reentry is having a place that you can really come out of this darkness and find another direction. Most of them are just warehouses, holding places till you get frustrated and do something that will send you back. And that's typical of the California prisons because they like to keep you on that treadmill because they make a lot of money off of you.
But
Okay,
it's all
they don't
about-
make any money out of an empty cell. And what we learned last week that now California prisons are $75,000 plus a year, which is more than a year at Harvard. That's how valuable you are, just sitting in that cell, waiting for 27 years and paying somebody else.
Can I say something?
Please.
there? You guys said something a minute ago about would you had listened had somebody said something to you back in the day and you said, no, probably not. Well, I kind of beg to differ. I think people do listen. It depends on who telling the story, who giving them the information.
Yeah.
Of course, we're not going to listen to mama,
Yeah.
but my
Right, is
ears
that-
is like pricked to hear you guys' story and what you guys have to bring to the table once you guys, you know, now that you out. And I'm pretty sure that young men is eager to hear what you guys have to say.
Yes.
Because all they be is just wanting to hear somebody, you know, tell them wrong from right, and it don't always come from mama.
Right. Oh, Mom
So,
can't tell them all
I think
that. No.
what you guys have to say is very valuable to our listeners, especially the young men.
Let me piggyback off of that because in raising African American sons, we have to have that man's input. See, because as a mother of a black son, I'm only guessing. I kind of know what he's going to go through, but I'm not going to live in his shoes. And the only one that he can get that essence from is another man like himself, because you guys know the struggle, you live the struggle. You ain't gonna lie to him, you ain't gonna fantasize nothing for him, you ain't gonna say, oh baby, it's gonna be all right. You're not gonna do the things that me as a mother, come on honey, do the right thing, do it the right way, you know I love you, I don't want to see you get hurt. No, sometimes a young brother needs to be hit upside the head.
Well, let me
Literally.
Let me
Okay.
say this real quick, and I want to bring these other brothers in
Please.
because I'm gonna ask a question. So, Kathy, I get it, but for me growing up, let me tell you that when I was 13 years old, I idolized a guy who was 16. I want to be just like him.
Yeah.
So these brothers might have a wonderful story, and there were other brothers too who had a story and want to help or whatever. But the person I idolized was not the person who did 27 years in jail. It was the person that I wanted to be like, who was 2-3 years older than me. You know, so and let's just say back in the days, whatever, it's 27 years ago, we hanging on the same block. and the music is going, everybody's smoking and drinking, I can't come to you and say, hey, apprentice, bro, do you get depressed at night and can't sleep and think about where you're at? I can't say that to him, because if you love me, you're going to get me high or drunk. If you don't love me, you're going to get me beat up for being soft. You know what I mean? So, and if I go to the wrong person, if I go to OG Shermhead, he going to have me running down the freeway butt naked. So I ain't going to need a daddy. So I got to pick and choose who I listened to as a child. So if I'm 2 years younger than Prentice and he's out there having a pocket full of money and everybody love him, I appreciate what you offering, but I want to be like him.
That's right.
Well, that's what Marcus said last week. That's what, not last week, but when Kathy was on, he said that, yeah, my grandmother raised me right, but I want to do what I wanted to do.
Right.
And you know what? To piggyback, though, Skip, I'm going to use Prentice, if it's all right, as an example.
Yeah.
He was well-known, well-liked. He was one of the ones that was out there that people looked up to in his day. And people still look up to him. So that's what I mean when I say they gonna listen to him.
Right.
You know, so that was...
So,
But
Yeah.
let me say something. Like, you got to understand this, though. The reason why I didn't listen is because a lot of people that was telling me these things didn't never experience it. You learn through experience, and that's why a lot of people listen to me now. But the main thing I learned when I was in prison was, back then, I didn't have no coping skills. I learned coping skills in my groups that I was taking in prison.
Yeah.
You understand what
Yes.
coping skills is?
Yes.
I didn't have no coping skills at all when I was young. I was just wild. But when I learned coping skills, that's what enabled me now to, instead of hustling and selling drugs and jacking or whatever I was doing back then, I'm hustling jobs now. I got a job at the railroad, and now I'm hustling to get another and better job. You know, I got accepted at the shipyard. I'm on the list. So now I'm fighting to get my my TWIC card so I can get in and out the ports. And that's like $350 a day.
Well, you're on a whole different path now.
Yeah.
A whole different path than what you were on when you started this nightmare. And this is what we call it.
Yeah.
We call it a nightmare
Yeah.
because it took so many of our men away from our village by one
That's
way
what's
or
wrong
another.
with, I understand that, but that's what's wrong with our youth today.
Yeah.
We don't have classes like we had in prisons.
Right.
They know
Help. Yeah.
that help us understand the struggle and everything that we was going through. Coping skills, number one. We don't have them kids out there, you know, them youths out there don't have no coping skills. So they don't know how to deal with things like we learned to deal with things when we was in prison.
Can you accept that there was a detour that took place that took you away from teaching our kids about coping skills? There was a detour that took you away from us, whatever it was. It wasn't to find a way to get along, to survive well. It was more of a destructive environment that was taking all of you. See, because where I sit, this thing covered all our neighborhoods, and not just my block. It's your block, it's their block, it's all over our neighborhood.
Yeah, like
So-
Skip said, I wanted to be like Prentice. He was
Yeah.
having all the money. He got all these fancy cars, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You know, no
It was by
disrespect,
design.
baby, but he was cheating. He had all these women's
but he
chasing
right
him.
now, though, baby. He right. He back and he right.
But when the crap hit the fan,
Yeah.
this is what happens.
Yes.
Right.
You know, as well, we kind of skipped a generation with our young men. You know, not having a father in the home or not having a positive male role model in the home, it really has its effects.
Yes.
And though I didn't spend as much time, 21 years almost, in prison, but I hold myself accountable for the lack of guidance that is in the communities today. Seeing all these young brothers, all these young men, period,
Yeah.
all races, they come in, they're ignorant, they're illiterate, You know, they're hooked on one type of drug or another, if not all of them.
And
you know,
would
they
you
have
agree
no
that they're angry?
self-respect.
Yeah.
They have no respect for
No respect.
anybody, themselves, their mothers,
Yeah.
their women. You know, anybody. They don't want to do things the right way because the only way that they have been taught, they were able to succeed at it in their minds and the people around them. They're associated with like-minded individuals. My mother, my elders,
Remember, he
were,
said that.
were
We'll
on
come back to
drugs. So
Okay.
once that came, they tried to pacify the children to keep them in place, or because their own guilt, their own conscience. And so as part of that pacification, it became like an emotional illiteracy for myself. So I didn't know the coping skills that you talk about. You know, I didn't know how to say no, or know how to say what I felt.
Can I ask you a question? Were you involved in a group when you were losing your mind and going down the wrong path? Were you in a peer group that we commonly call a gang?
No.
A neighborhood crew, anything
No.
like that?
I was not. I've never been affiliated.
Okay.
Though there were some young men in my neighborhood who wanted us to become affiliated.
Well, that's what had me thinking about that coping skill, because so many of our kids went that direction. And what was a coping skill?
Gang members and the gang leaders got their mentality or their ideas from somewhere. Before gangs existed in these forms in our communities, what was our behavior? Those same traits carried over. All those negative behaviors carried over into the gang mentality, their function, their format. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Originally, if we were robbing banks, we were robbing banks. It's going to be me and my partner, one or two of us, and we're going to rob banks. That's it. We don't need to have a whole party, you know, to do
Well,
what
bank robbing is different
That's
from
just an
banking.
example.
Well, let me-
even sewing up a corner.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't need a gang to sew up these projects,
No, you don't.
these apartments. You know, you need a couple of people that set their mind to it and say, "This is what we're going to do." But though to flip that coin, those same attributes that allowed us to have that type of control that we were really lacking for real in reality, but those same attributes, when we utilize them properly and carry them over into constructive, more
Right.
positive formats, then, I mean, it's in us.
Yeah.
Let me jump in
It's
before I
in us.
forget, bro. I smoked a lot of weed. I'm gonna forget real quick. So listen. So something you had said triggered me to my mother. Never been arrested. Never been in a police car. But she had 3 boys, 2 jobs. So she told us when we left the house, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. You better pick up something and knock the dog out of them. She tell us to go outside and fight. You fight. And I'm like, Mama, them boys fight ain't got nothing to do with me. She like, don't come in the house when they fighting. You stand there then. In case they want to fight you, you fight. So I didn't learn that from a gang. I didn't learn that from any criminal enterprise. The things that I learned, and I used to always tell on my brother. I'd say, Steve hit me, I'm bleeding in the back of the head. She grabbed me like this and say, stop telling all the time.
Yeah.
You're a tattletale. Nobody like a tattletale. I didn't learn that from a gang. I learned that in the home. So I'm just want to piggyback that everything you're saying didn't have nothing to do with the community I came from, because my mother could have moved anywhere and I still would have had that mentality. Like, I'm not going to tell on you. You hit me, I'm going to pick up something, I'm going to knock you down. But then when I'm facing life sentences in 1998, she's like, boy, how you get to be like that?
Yeah.
I'm like, what, you don't know? She's like, I ain't never
Skip,
acted
in
like
fairness, I raised my sons the same way. I wouldn't let them run from a fight, and I'm so sorry that I was forced to have to do that, because they were blessed to have a dad in the home, but he was at work all the time. And my youngest child was confronted at 7 years old by 2 12-year-olds who wanted to jack him for his bike.
Right.
They just came.
Oh, my
up-
mother would have made me fight them. If I would have let them
did.
have a bike, I couldn't have went to sleep. We'd have had to go find them in the bike. She'd have told their mama, my son want to fight your son, and we need that bike back.
Skip,
Well, you know what it
I
actually
came
boiled down to.
outside with the 7-year-old
Right.
and gave him the baseball bat that he carried out with him to resolve that. And the 12-year-old said, "Oh, that ain't fair." I said, well, it's as fair as you two picking on a 7-year-old, so he just has an equalizer. But circumstances, as his mother, I had to teach him not to fear that stuff. Right. So I don't know what
those
the
are
fine
survival
line.
techniques.
I don't know what the fine line is for our mothers. So this is why.
But that's why we didn't get a chance to thrive.
Excuse me. Most mothers understand they want their son to grow up to be a man, and not no wimp.
Right.
You know, because you grow up, you understand, being a wimp, people's gonna take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, regardless you got an education or not, you grow up being a wimp, people gonna take advantage of you. You know. So when you're being raised in a one parent home, you know, like my mother raised me, my brother, and my sister. You know, I got out into them streets, and what I had to do the same thing she's just talking about right now. I had to fight. Yeah. You know. And when I started fighting, you understand me, in 3rd grade, it's like, hey, man, it got good. Because I won my first fight, and after that, hey, man, it was on and cracking, Jack. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be a tough guy.
That's the worst thing that happened to a child. He start winning fights. Yeah. Then it's like, hey, I could do this.
Yeah, my 7-year-old felt a whole lot better about himself with that baseball bat. Believe me, that was a turning point for him. Too,
that, you know, a lot of things about life revolves around psychology, you know. And this is what television, movies, you know, and things of this nature have the tendency of glamorizing. Right. And you're talking about the youngsters nowadays. Right. You know, like I said, I love kids, man. You know, I wouldn't want my past to become their future. Right. So I'm always, understanding, like I said, trying to give my advice. I can't make nobody do anything, you know, but I'm always trying to share my advice, man. My experience, let them know, hey, man, you know what, bro, don't do this to yourself. Yeah. Right. You know, don't make the same mistakes that I did, you know, by going to, you know, committing these crimes and end up in prison, you understand me, doing 36, 37 years like I just got to doing, man. It's not worth it, man. You only get one shot at life. Right. You know, and whatever you make of it, you understand me, that's totally up on you, you know. But if you want to give your life to the state, that's on you too. Man. You know what I mean? It's your choice.
This is the part where we want to talk to them about the trauma of lockup, because some of the young guys can't wait to get behind bars.
Right, it's a rite of passage.
They can't wait to be the orange is the new black, you know, and so we want to take that glamour out of it and hit them with the reality that it ain't no picnic in the park kind of thing. So really this is a time we want you to share your best information to make them reconsider looking forward to lockup.
Okay, let me start it off.
Okay.
All right, Sister Karen.
Herron.
Huh?
With an H.
Herron.
It's all right.
Okay, but
she answers to it.
I answer the sister.
Yeah, but let me elaborate on this. You said what is coping skills?
Yeah.
Coping skills, one of my favorite was STAR. STAR.
STAR.
S-T-A-R. STAR.
Okay.
Stop, think, analyze, then react. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was one of my coping skills. And another one was you got to understand what's between urge and action, because you only got one time after that.
Yeah.
Either you're going to do something wrong or you're going to do the right thing. So what's between urge and action? It starts with a D, decision, because that's the last time you're going to be able to make a decision, you know, and then you have to face the consequences.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Either you're going to do something wrong, negative, or you're going to do something right, positive. But after, you know what I'm saying, you make that decision between urge and action, you don't got no more decision to make. It's already been made.
Yeah.
So that's another coping skill. It's many of them, you know. You work on a lot of kids grow up with low self-esteem because their mother can't afford to bomb this, bomb that. So they start committing crimes.
I think that kind of comes with being black. We just kind of come in the world knowing something. Hey, by the age of 5, we know we're different.
Yeah, but
and then it starts to affect us. Well, why are we different? Why people treat us different? What is it about me that makes me different? So I think it's something we all recognize
what
too
I'm gonna
early.
What I'm gonna do though, exactly what Prentice is talking about. What I'm gonna do, because I grew up with it, I'm gonna cover it. What I'm gonna do, I ain't gonna think about that. And I'm not gonna talk to you on the block about that. I'm gonna stay high and I'm gonna stay drunk.
Right,
exactly.
But I'm not gonna deal with the fact that I got low self-esteem or I'm suicidal. Let me tell you, I went to prison in 1986. I got a D number. I was 126 pounds when I hit the reception center. I hit Chino. There were girls in the 6th grade bigger than me. Come on, but I'm acting hardcore. I'm acting like I'm that dude, but I'm
like
not that dude.
175.
Right, I'm not that dude. I was waiting to get dead. Somebody was gonna make me dead, and that's what I signed up for each and every day because of low self-esteem, because of that unresolved trauma that I couldn't deal with, because of the stuff that made me cover up, made me stay high, made me stay drunk, because I didn't want to address. Actually, I had low self-esteem, and real quick, let me tell you about the young ladies who chose to be with me.
Yeah.
They wasn't shit. And the reason I can say that is because deep in my mind, I believe I wasn't shit. So you said something. I said, you guys remind me what he said. He said that we were alike. Something like Alicia Keys' song said, we got way too much in common.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here 2 o'clock in the morning, high, drunk, looking at this girl. Like, we got way too much in common. Because if I ain't shit, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
So come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna get you to the real.
Well, see, but that is the deal, and look how it just came over all of us. It wasn't just you, Skip.
Right.
It was all the young men in my neighborhood. Every young man that my young children grew up with got caught up in this. And all of them, to a man, even from the originator, the OG, have spent so much of their life in lockup and in ruin. And some of them come back and they're still drug addicted to this day. And we're living in a peaceful environment now on that block. So we've come a long way. And this is trying to, with your experience, guide the next generation so they have a little more sense, a little more self-esteem, that they don't have to feel bad about themselves just because they're black men in this world. I'm tired of being the brunt for this country. I think we've done enough as a people of color to suffer for this country. And our kids need to know that they deserve something better than what you got, really. And you're the ones that are going to guide them. They have to hear your testimony.
We want to give them something better.
Yeah.
But we have to realize what put us, or what will continue to put our children in that position.
Yeah.
Where are our values?
Yeah.
Where are our principles?
They changed.
Before coming to this country, so many eons ago, we had a circle. And this is one of the things that they emphasize at this institution we're at now.
Okay.
This sober living community, teaching community that we're at. It's a circle.
Community.
And the men, all the members, women will have theirs, the men will have their circles, but as a village, we will have our circle, and we will talk about it, we will drink about it, we will peyote or root or whatever, and dance about it, and we will celebrate overcoming that. But if we are not able to come together and communicate, I was deprived of being able to communicate growing up. So now that I have grown up, and I educated myself, I have learned to communicate.
Yes.
It's simple, but I want the person to want to hear me. I want to be heard, or I'm wasting my time.
Okay, wait, hold on a second though. So for me, and I can't knock what you said, brother, but for me, I would rather understand than to be understood. So I don't. So in other words, I don't feel entitled. I don't feel like, like you got to hear me. See, I'm a domestic violence counselor, so when I hear that, I'm like,
it's not so much. And if I want you to hear me, I have to be willing to hear you first.
Yeah.
That's part of the communication.
The key
If
that you
there's an
said was
issue-
communication.
Right.
And
That's
Both
part of the
ways, yeah.
communication.
but what I want to say, because I'm gonna go back to what Apprentice said about
Yeah,
that
go
self-esteem.
for it.
So is my self-esteem gonna be low? So if I start talking to you, brother, and I really got a message for you, and you not listening to me, what for me, I'm gonna do, bless your heart. I appreciate. I gave you everything, but when I get the entitled, like, nah, I'm giving you something, brother. I'm gonna take you to this well. And you're not listening. I can't be angry that because they're gonna be kids, man. 36 years.
Yeah.
Trust me,
Yeah.
there are people who need to hear each and every one of your stories.
Yes.
But they're gonna be some who are gonna turn their back. They're gonna do like this. They're gonna get on Twitter and Instagram and act like they're not paying attention. So for me, what I don't want to do is think that they gotta listen to me. Because
Can't
I'm
force.
right.
Yeah,
I don't, because once I believe that I'm entitled to you, especially, and I believe, brother, 21 years, 27, 36, I think they should listen. Damn
They
it,
do.
if
They
I
do.
gotta
You'd be
hold them by their
surprised,
neck. I'll
though.
make my kids. But if it's the neighbor kids or something, or we at a school, just know that they may not always listen.
They hear you.
But
They're the
that's-
circle
yeah,
makers
yeah.
now. You're the circle makers.
Right.
You've learned about the circle. You have that concept to bring to the young men that need to hear you. Like Skip said, you're not gonna get them all, but believe me, there are young men out here that want to hear from you.
Yes,
Before he go, because I believe he'll be next, I was thinking that even with the radio show, how many people are really listening that we want to hear this?
yeah,
So
we singing to the choir. You
what
know,
we
right?
got to do as a people is put this stuff out there on social media, the radio show, who was speaking. I'm pretty sure if somebody heard each one of y'all that know y'all on the streets, that y'all was on the radio telling y'all story, they gonna chime in on it. So y'all got to get out there in the streets and tell the same story y'all telling right now, because the message got to be sent. It got to be sent, and can't nobody tell it like y'all.
That's right.
So this is just a way to help get it out there. But this is just like work, constant work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because before we leave, I want you to think about the most important message you want to send to that young person you said don't want to hear you. Think about it before we get to that part, but I want you to send them a message that you believe they need to hear. So you wanted to add something in?
Yes, ma'am. I want to say, I understand the act of conditioning. I mean, the mind itself, man, is only going to take in, you understand me, what it's looking at, what it's being told. And coming up within an environment that I came up in, I mean, this is what triggered me into committing crimes. My environment had a lot to do with it. It was never, you understand me, so much of a thing at home. Because, like I said, my mother always told me, you know what I mean, if you ever get a record, it's going to follow you the rest of your life. But I didn't care. My only concern, you understand, was to try to have things, you understand me, like kids of upper class and, higher up, you understand me, is having, you know what I mean? I wanted to, go to school dressed nice and have money in my pockets and things of this nature, but I couldn't do it because I was too young at the time to get a job or anything, so that led me to, like I said, robbing and stealing, My mother's on welfare, so I can't go to her, you understand me, every time I need, you understand me, something, So I try to, like I said, get out there and make things happen. But, I made it happen, you understand me, the wrong way. And my whole thing about talking today is that I want youngsters to understand, you know what I mean, that crime does not pay. In the long run, you're going to pay.
Right.
It's going to catch up with
Right.
you.
It's gonna cost.
It's going to cost you. You know what I mean? Because, see, I understand, how God had worked in my life, you understand me, and how he done revealed things to me now that I can really see. You understand me, about my past life and the things I did do in the past I regret to the utmost, But I'm a total different person now, I'm a lot older, I'm a lot wiser, I'm a lot smarter. And my advice to all these youngsters out there was to get yourself together, man. You don't have to do the things that you're doing, Start thinking before you act. Just like Prentice was saying, you know what I mean? Learn some coping skills.
Yeah.
This is what's going to help you in the long run, Know how to say no, just like my boy Dennis said, You don't have to, you understand me, pick up a gun. You ain't got to get involved with no gang activity. You don't have to do anything, you understand me, that revolves around any type of criminal activity. It's your decision. This is your life, man. You know what I mean? So you make the best of it. That's all I can ask you,
And I wish it was that easy, but the truth is our men have been affected by a negative energy that pit our men against each other.
Right. It's
With
a system. Politics.
the intent to eliminate you,
Divide and conquer. Divide and
eliminate you by your own hands. Okay, y'all go kill each other. That'll be fine with us because
Make it
we're gonna
easy.
pay the mortuary, we're gonna pay the cemetery. We can't do that. We'll lock you up. Okay, so that's been by design, and that's the night where we've been living for at least 25, almost 30 years.
60.
So okay, because
60.
Long time.
See, it's been a long time, and it's a generational thing, and that's why it's important for these young men that are still lost, still thinking they don't have a place, for you to tell them, look, I went down that road, and I'm going to tell you, you ain't going to be happy. And one of the most important things that you said about the understanding is understanding consequences. Are you ready for the consequences of what you're about to do?
Right.
See, that's the one question I don't think the young people are factoring in. Is there a consequence? Am I prepared to pay it?
Prison no longer should be considered a badge of honor. It's shame to know that you have robbed, steal, cheated, raped, murdered, whatever, your brother or your sister or someone in your own community.
Yeah.
Though it shouldn't happen in any community, but that much more, why would you rob your neighbor? Your neighbor is the one who looked out for you when you was growing up.
Right.
You know, who slowed the cars down, who took the dog from bite, whatever. You know, who your mother on welfare went next door to go get a cup of sugar so she can make you some cake for your birthday. I mean, these are things that we have to get back into our community and knowing that we're all in this together.
Yes.
Whether we admit it or not.
Go back to what Apprentice said, because everything I heard you say was all in that self-esteem. So, and then what you said too, so my ego is right here, and I don't have the clothes. I don't have. I just simply don't have. And as you used the word illiterate, I'm not going to admit to you that I can't read and write.
Right.
I'm not going to admit to you that I don't understand some of the words you're using. I'm not going to admit it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, like, okay, take Tiny Killer. And we say, hey, Tiny Killer, we're not shooting no more. He has nowhere else to go.
Right.
He has nothing else to be. Right. If you take Tiny Killer and say, man, we're not at war, then you got to be Theodore again. He's like, man, I'm not going to do that. You know, I failed at being who I really am. I'm this image now. I am this person that I built up. And now you telling me, big homie, that we not getting at these dudes? I ain't with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know why I'm not with that?
That's what
I ain't shit.
That's what made me, when I was growing up, feel better about myself. Having this, having that. What I gotta say to the youths out there is, how could you commit a crime? I mean, a person that commit a crime against another person, you don't love yourself.
No.
The reason why I say that,
That's real.
I say that all the time while I'm in Amity. You know, like he said, you know, I like Amity, you know, because I got a job, I got this through Amity. The first house I was at, I didn't have nothing. I wasn't getting nowhere fast. I got my license, I got my hazmat, I got all this going for me now. But what I want to say to the youth is they got to challenge themselves. They got to be accountable for everything they do. I never, ever, ever thought about the consequences I would have to pay in prison. My daughter, you know what I'm saying, my wife, you know, my kids growing up without a daddy, because I was always a good father. I was an effed up husband at times, but I was always a good father to my kids. So if by me going to prison, I didn't love my kids either. How can I love them and I left them?
That's right. That's real tough.
You didn't love yourself.
That's real tough.
I didn't
You
love
live in a
myself.
destructive
Right.
life because, like what somebody said, that was the only choice.
Yeah,
the only
the-
choice.
the
You tell
consequences-
Tiny Killer, we ain't killing no more. What's he gonna do now?
See,
Yeah.
that's the story that they got to hear.
Yeah,
That
the
right there.
consequences.
The fact that I ain't love myself.
I didn't never see what I was taking from my family.
Yes.
I didn't love myself, and I sure didn't love my family because I left them.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of youth, a lot of young people, a lot of young men have babies, have kids, and now you going to prison for the rest of your life.
Right.
I mean, you leaving them behind.
Yeah.
How
Right.
could you love them? And I struggle with that, and that made me a much better person now that I'm out. I said I will never, ever, ever leave my family
Never again.
again,
That's
though,
right.
because they sacrificed.
Never.
They sacrificed and they struggled. They went through all this. My mama used to tell me, "I'm struggling. When you coming home?"
Yeah, from the people that really love you.
Yeah, the
From
people that love
that
you,
really
they
love
and
you
need you.
Yes.
They need your presence.
Yes.
Whether you got a job or whether you know you can be broke,
Right.
and they happy because you there.
Yeah.
You spending
Yes.
time with
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
You watching
I feel
your
like saying
kids
amen.
grow.
I'm telling
Amen.
you.
Watching your kids grow up.
Yes.
I mean,
just your presence here,
Exactly.
and not somewhere else over just a devastation that you should have never been subjected to. But this is we've all been
How can
through
you
this.
love yourself
All of us in this room
when-
carry that pain.
when you sent yourself to prison, and now you going through all this in prison. You know what we go through in prison?
Yes,
Then I
sir.
had to go to the board. I got denied 2 times, and that was 8 years. I had to wait in order to go to the third time to my third board.
A 5 and a 3.
And a 5 and a 3. You're right. And then I got out on the third one though. And you think I'm finna go through that ever again? So I'm telling all the youths now, Don't even put
go.
yourself in
Not
that
worth it.
position.
Yeah, don't
It's
go.
not worth it,
It
man.
is not worth
And
it.
if you love your family and your kids, you will stop committing crimes and hustle a job.
Yeah.
People are dying in prison every day.
Yeah, my
Either
partner
heart
just
attack,
died, man. Carlton Blackman, rest in
cancer,
peace, up in
you know.
Folsom.
I mean, they dying everything. I mean, they don't care about you in there. You're just a commodity.
Yeah, well, you're
You
a
know what I
price
mean?
tag. You
That's
said
all.
You got to jump in.
$5,000.
You got to just jump in.
Okay,
Just
real
say
quick.
something.
The last thing I want to say is, the Bible says that life is in the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
So, what I want you guys to do, and of course us sitting here, is just speak life into our young people, because that's really all we can do at the end of the day is
You
speak
sound like Coach
life.
Ward.
No matter what,
That's what you
no
said.
matter what the situation is, just speak life.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Dennis, you're going to leave us with
encourage them.
something,
Yeah,
man. The
Dennis.
young people, they listening to you.
Prison ain't what it used to be. It's you talking about you don't want to be with snitches? The prison done
All special need yards now. They got like 5 yards, 4 of them special needs, only 1 good yard still.
Let me
huh?
ask it this way:
Yes,
was
and why is
prison
taking
ever
over in
what we
prison?
was looking forward
No,
to?
it
I
was
mean,
not.
was it ever the dream
But
that
you didn't
we?
know that until you got there.
Yeah,
We didn't figure that out until we got there.
Yeah,
we
the
found
big
out
trick.
it's really not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
What was it supposed to be? Exactly what it was.
okay, yeah. That's really the harsh reality that we want our young people to hear from you. That no, it's not going to be a walk in the park Sunday kind of thing, and you're going to have some struggles in there, and you're going to be in an environment where they don't care. They don't care. You
Sister
can,
Herron, we got to probably do this show again,
yeah,
because women go to prison too.
yes,
I did 5 years, but that's for another show.
okay.
And it was a young lady that was supposed to come with me. She's actually my best friend. Her name is Anasa Cooper. She had 50 years. But because of the state that she was in when she committed her crime, have this thing called reconsideration.
Oh, okay.
And she got out in a year.
Wow.
But she had
Love, yeah.
50
Wow.
years.
Man, that was love.
California ain't never
Can
had
we
no
move our family
reconsideration.
to that state? I want them to have reconsideration too.
We need reconsideration right here in California.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
It has been some changes in the system, but it's never enough. But we shouldn't need the state to change us.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could start with us.
The state doesn't want to lose that income they make off of your bodies, and that's the one thing we want our kids to know. Crime don't pay for you, except you going to end up paying them. You're going to pay them, and that's that $75,000 sale fee every year.
Every year.
Practice being respectful. I love you. Love God in whatever form you see him or her as, but love yourself.
Yes.
That's right.
Love
Love
yourself.
yourself.
That's right, brother.
Our kids
Learn
deserve
to
to
love
love
yourself.
themselves.
One of the things that when I was in prison, I was in a cell with a Muslim imam, and he had asked me. I had 2 daughters at the time. I got 12 kids now. He asked me, did I love my daughters? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, do you love them enough to die for them? And I said, yeah. I was 126 pounds, so I poked my little bird chest out. I said, I'll die for my kids. And he said, calm down. He said, the same people you're willing to die for want you to live. They need you to live for them, but you ready to die for them each and every day.
Yeah.
And that's not even what they want for you. So,
Something to think about.
yeah, just something to think
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was a
I
heavy
would
statement.
rather. Yeah, it's a heavy
Yeah, it was
statement,
very
and
heavy, yeah.
it went over my head. I was like, man, that's stupid, But really, as
If
I
you're
can't
willing
remember.
to die for him, won't you just be good for him?
Right,
Yeah,
because
that's
see,
what
when
he
he
was
said, he
saying.
asked me, he said, "Are you willing to live for
Live
him?"
for 'em.
And I didn't know what that meant.
Exactly.
I didn't know how to put
ready
that
to live.
together,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Man, that's stupid." You know what I mean? Because I couldn't
the
process
lifestyle
it.
Yeah,
took from
yeah.
our men.
Right.
Look, you just said a whole mouthful
Sure
that
did.
you had these children, but you wasn't caring about seeing to them, but you'd give your life
Your
up
life.
for them.
Right.
But teach them, no.
Right.
No.
All right, y'all. So listen, I wanted, if I could have the last word, I want to tell y'all to keep y'all head to the sky.
Oh, without a doubt.
Can y'all do that?
Without
Yes,
a
sir.
doubt.
No, I had a theme music. I was supposed to do.
I'm going to keep striving.
Well,
My-
God
keep
bless
my
your
head
community
to
family, and thank you for listening to
the
Gang
sky.
Talk. Thank you, young men, for coming and talking.
You're
to
very
us.
welcome.
Thank
Now
you.
get close to the mic. He's singing. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
sing.
ahead.
You can sing. Look, if you can sing,
ahead.
sing in the mic.
Well, I like Barry White ecstasy.
Okay.
That's your theme music, man. This is mine, bro.
This ain't that. This is